Good Thursday and happy 7th day of November. A lot to cover. A lot of money matters tonight. We'll preface our local headlines, which include a fundraiser, a culmination of efforts by a host of entities, if you will, to honor our veterans in a very colorful and visual way in the downtown area and down in the Parkway as well. And we are privileged to be a part of that. And I'll show you what we're talking about and how you can be included or have your veteran included, more importantly. Just a quick reminder about your real ID. If you haven't got yours, there is a clock ticking. That's been reset, I guess, a couple of times since they first announced it. But just a big reminder today from our state government and our transportation cabinet. But in money matters, before we go there, this is not directed, leaning towards any or either of the two presidential candidates. Just a little food for thought that I came across today. A new report out. Now, the election is over, says that there was over or about $2 billion spent on advertising for the presidential campaign, start to finish. The Harris-Walz campaign reported they spent about $1.4 billion in political ads. Trump's campaign, about $460 million, adding up to close to $2 billion. I know that there was also, can't recall which one it was, but I can recall reading that one of the Senate races, I believe it was, had a total invested between two candidates of just about $500 million. In other money matters, well, interest rates, they finally went down in September, and they did again today. However, reports out just yesterday said that the average rate on a 30-year mortgage in the U.S. went up for the sixth straight week, hitting its highest level since early July. The rate inched up to about 6.79%, up from 6.72 last week. Freddie Mac saying that today, and saying that that is still down from a year ago when the rate averaged 7.5%, but it has been going back the other direction and increasing. Borrowing costs on a 15-year fixed mortgage, more popular than not, I guess, with homeowners seeking to refinance their home at a lower rate, also went up this week. The average rose to 6% from 5.99. Not an increase, but still an increase when we're all hoping for decreases. A year ago, it was 6.81. And, of course, it just takes very few percentage points or parts of points to add potentially hundreds of dollars to your monthly payment, regardless of whatever big purchase you're making. The average rate on a 30-year home loan hasn't been this high as it is right now this week since July, when it was 6.89%. In late September, the average rate got as low as 6.08, the lowest in about 2 years, after the Fed's decision to cut its main interest rate for the first time in more than 4 years. It cut it in September, by half a percentage point. And today, as was expected, the Fed cut its key rate again by a quarter of a percentage point. The Federal Open Market Committee's vote was unanimous, and at its previous meeting in September, it did cut it by half a percentage point, first time in 4 years, as inflation continued to show signs of cooling and moved further toward its target rate of 2%. The job market, they said, in announcing today's cut, is solid. The economic activity has grown, and the consumer spending is resilient, as they termed it. Inflation is close to the Fed's 2% goal at 2.1% in September, and core inflation, I want to stress core inflation, which excludes food and energy, is still elevated at 2.7%. The Fed's new benchmark rate is now, after this quarter point today, 4.5 to 4.75%. And again, it's the second cut since it paused rates last year following the aggressive rate hiking campaign to try to get inflation under control. And that was when the Fed raised rates 11 times between March of 22 and July of 23. The governor had his Thursday Team Kentucky update today, provided an update on medical cannabis in Kentucky after the election. Part of the new system for medical marijuana allowed local governments to make decisions about whether to let medical cannabis businesses operate within their jurisdictions or let voters decide. 21 county governments made the decision to opt out, meaning not to allow medical cannabis businesses, while 39 made the decision to directly authorize these businesses. 53 county governments opted to let voters decide. 4 cities, 53 opted out or were opted out by action of their counties, and 184 decided to stay in. The governor announced that all 106 cities and counties that had medical marijuana on the ballot voted to allow its sales and businesses in their communities. And First Lady Brittany Bashir also reminded Kentuckians seeking quality, affordable health care coverage through the state-based marketplace Connect. If you're looking for insurance, enrollment is now open. The deadline that you have is January the 15th. If you need help and you are ready to enroll, kynect.kentucky.gov, connect.ky.gov. Also, part of his update today was an announcement on workforce training programs. Training for about 8,775 Kentuckians. That many receiving skills training thanks to support provided through the Bluegrass State Skills Corps, which oversees programs attached to the Kentucky Cabinet for Economic Development that help private sector businesses establish industry-specific training initiatives. In fiscal year 2024, the BSSC Board of Directors approved about $19 million in funds and credits for 104 Kentucky facilities to train over 42,000 workers. That is the most since 2016. There were a lot of those. This month's approvals included workforce training support for over 2,600 employees in Bowling Green at a facility, just getting some of those closer to us in our vicinity. 675 trainees at Summit Polymers in Mount Sterling, 517 at the Bluegrass Training Consortium in Georgetown. We have a lot of folks, of course, employed in Georgetown. And there are about 219 trainees at Heritage Millworks in Clay City. Based on building on that momentum, the board approved more than $1.7 million in training funds and credits for over 4,000 trainees across 27 Kentucky facilities during the first of 4 fiscal year 2025 meetings. Local news is next. What have I been working on today? Well, good thing is I could make some good news out of it. Stay tuned.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in Kentucky.
I believe in small town values.
And mom and dad and the things they handed down.
I believe some of the best people in the world are farmers.
I believe in insurance that protects families, homes, and cars.
I believe in always finding a way to do what you love.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
I am Kentucky.
After a loved one's death, the holidays can be a painful reminder of all that's been lost. While others are celebrating the season, you're likely filled with painful questions. Should I hang my loved one's stocking? Can I just say no to social gatherings? How can I make the holidays special for my kids when I'm hurting so badly? At GriefShare Surviving the Holidays, you'll find answers to these questions and helpful strategies for navigating the complexities of this season. And you'll find hope in the process. Register now to find support, relief, and encouragement for this season.
Thanks to you, Fraser's Prater Drug has been voted #1 in customer satisfaction with Good Neighbor Pharmacies for the 7th year in a row. With curbside pickup for all of your prescription, allergy, or even multivitamin needs. Or come in and pull up a stool while you shop, or just visit downtown and treat yourself to something extra tasty or sweet. Where locally owned means a more personal, reliable, and friendly pharmacy. Fraser's Prater Drug. Experience over 30 years of exceptional, impeccable elegance and beauty at Seasons Florist, now in Salyersville, offering the very freshest in floral designs, custom and in-stock wreaths, arrangements, gifts, and so much more that you'll have to visit to try to see it all. Plus, they have tuxedo rental, free delivery within the city limits of Salyersville, and you can even place orders after hours. Call anytime. Seasons Florist on Parkway Drive, 349-4000. Green Tree Forest Products wants to buy your timber. Our skilled log procurement team has 4 generations and 70 years of experience buying over 24 million feet of hardwoods every year, which means you'll get the most dollars out of your logs and timber by calling any of our 3 locations in Salyersville, Moorhead, or Wallingford, Kentucky. In the Salyersville and surrounding area, call 495-1198. Green Tree Forest Products. You can call it low carb because it is ultra low carb. And you can also call it one of the tastiest meals ever. Seasoned roast breast strips are perfect green beans, and cooked cabbage so good that Sometimes I just get a pint of it and a Diet Pepsi and make it a meal. All you have to do is make your way to your Sayersville Lee's famous recipe. It's fall, and you can find it in all its warm, vibrant glory on the latest fashions, apparel, and accessories and home decor at the seasonal shop, where you can also embrace your inner claws as Christmas is hitting the shelves as we speak. Stop by anytime and pick out the perfect gift, birthday, wedding, baby, for anyone, and get cracking on those next level Christmas decorations at the seasonal shop in downtown Sayersville. A project that we have been privileged to be a part of is a fundraiser that's been organized by the Sayersville Renaissance and our DAV Chapter 15 to honor our veterans in a very visual way. And for many of the past 72 hours, this is what we've been doing, and Judge Matt Wireman, also with the DAV, tells us how you can have your veteran included. Judge Matt Wireman picked up the idea from another city, brought it to Sayersville and McGoffin County, and the DAV Chapter 15, as well as Sayersville Main Street Renaissance Program, came together with the following fundraiser, and you will be seeing these go up. Plans are tomorrow. A number of the first of what hopefully will be many banners. They are 24 and 60 by 60 in size, double-sided with your same veteran on both sides, to be given to the family at the end of the campaign.
My wife and I were in Western Kentucky earlier in the year, about 6-8 weeks ago, and we were there with part of the Main Street program, touring cities in far west Kentucky. They travel all over the state every year, different places, and it happened to be in West Kentucky this year. And several of the cities down there had these banners up honoring veterans. So we started posing the questions about how they done it and what the purpose was it a fundraiser or whatever. And some of them were fundraisers, some of them were just things that the local city's done. I called back and spoke to Lloyd Sayer, our commander of the local DAV, and they agreed, the DAV did, to go in partnership with Sayersville Renaissance Program to put banners up honoring our hometown heroes, those veterans that served, and to do it as a fundraiser and split the proceeds. So what we've done is we've had to kind of go at a rush because we want to do this during the month of November, which is Veterans Day, which is Monday, and also do it in May during Memorial Day. And we've got several in, and we're going to get them up now, and we'll be open to doing it again next spring. But we hope to show our hometown pride and honor our veterans twice a year by those families that want to honor their loved ones. This is the initial one. This is the pilot, if you will. And once folks see that, we will open it up again starting in the spring. It will be for 2 months, meaning those folks that got in on this first go round, it'll be for November and for May. If additional people come forward and want to do it in May, they can do it for May and November at the same cost. And then annually to renew, it's $150 a year for those 2 months. And then to renew it is an additional $50 a year. And we'll do that for a couple of years and then give the banners back to the families that want them. We hope for this to be a recurring thing, to keep it going. It'll be an annual fundraiser, and hopefully we'll see these up twice a year from now on.
But all families get to keep the banners.
Right, they'll get once we're done, or they don't renew, then they will get the banner.
And you can get the process started by picking up an application for this fundraising event, honoring our veterans, in the judge's office. Up next, tonight's calendar brought to you by McGoffin Farm Bureau. First, and the most fun of all, it says a happy belated birthday wish, please, to Shirley Lynn Adkins of Leander. Love your husband, love your family and friends. And I think it's belated because I was out for regular programming on Election Day, and I just got this on my desk this morning, so if it is, I'm sorry. But nevertheless, Shirley Lynn Adkins of Leander, with a lot of love from your husband and family and friends, happy birthday to you. If you haven't got an appointment, don't worry. you can walk in and you will be just as welcome and appreciated. The next McGoffin County Community Blood Drive is tomorrow, 1 to 5:30 at the Syersville First Baptist Church. They're trying so hard to get ahead of what will be low and critical winter levels. So please, if you can, stop by. The second annual Fall Carnival hosted by the North McGoffin Elementary PTO is tomorrow, 5 to 8. Games, prizes, a cakewalk, and more. Food vendors also will be there. And it's going to be a night of fun for all. 5 to 8 tomorrow at North McGoffin Elementary. And the before-mentioned food, well, will be provided by Got Munchies, the Rescue Hut, and the Lunchbox. They'll be out in the parking lot during the Fall Carnival. So come eat, play, have fun, and support a local PTO. A few things from our extension service. The next Patchwork Play Dates. This is gatherings for preschool kids in McGoffin County. Tuesday the 19th, 10 till noon. Moms, dads, and families. They're going to make a vehicle for their craft and their snack. It's not going to be real traffic lights, but it's going to look like it and be super fun too as well. Patchwork Play Dates Tuesday the 19th. A big holiday event at the extension service is their annual wreath workshop Monday the 25th, but they need you to register so they'll have how many to prepare for. $15. You can stop in throughout the entire day, 6 to 10 p.m. 10 a.m. to 6 p.m., but call to register 349-3216. They'll be open all day, and you can stop in at your leisure and be a part of it. World Diabetes Day is going to be recognized next Wednesday the 13th at the Mountain Arts Center with guest speakers, T-shirts for the first 100. Vendors will be there from 10 till 2. Free lunch, resistance training at 1, door prizes as well, and they'd love to see you, hosted by ARH, who is also hosting the next Diabetes Connection event where they hope to help everyone understand diabetes together. They're doing this on the 21st, the last meeting of this year, with diabetes trivia. Going to make some fun out of it at your McGoffin County Extension Service. If you have a calendar and you want everyone, if you have an announcement for the calendar that you want everyone to know about, you get it to me any way you can. Want something in the paper? We'll send that to Heather at SyersvilleIndependent.com. Turning to funeral service announcements for this evening, we begin with services which will be held at a later date, as a memorial service is to take place later in honor of Stephen R. Howard. That's Stephen Ray Howard, 40, of College Heights in Syersville, who passed away on yesterday's date at St. Mary's. The son of Timothy Ray Blackburn and the late Carolyn Jean Gibson Blackburn, he's survived by his father and his stepmother, Kimberly Gilpin. A son, Timothy Howard of Syersville, a daughter, Haley Ratliff of Syersville, as well as his brother, Harold Ray, and 4 sisters, Patricia Ann Blackburn, Crystal Gail Helton, Carrie Renee Howard, and Amanda Jean Brown. Again, a memorial service to be held at a later date. Saddened to hear of the passing of a fellow who I considered a friend of mine. It was always joyful when I would run into him wherever it might have been in the Paintsville area, sometimes here in McGoffin because he had family here, but 82-year-old Lonnie Dunn Jr. of Paintsville passed away yesterday at Prestonsburg Healthcare. Lonnie was born here in McGoffin County, the son of the late Lonnie Dunn and Mary Reed Dunn. Besides his parents, he was preceded in death by his first wife, Janice, his son Lonnie Dunn III, his brothers Ronald and Roosevelt and John George Dunn and Jerry Dunn, as well as his sisters Margaret Pauline Dunn and Donna Gail Westover. He survived by his wife Edna Mae Rice Dunn, his daughter Dana Ransdale, stepdaughters Betty E. Reed and Sandy Pelfrey, his brother Luther Dean Dunn, 2 grandkids, 4 step-grandkids, and a host of family and friends. Funeral services in Lonnie's honor will be held Saturday morning at 11 from the Jones and Preston Funeral Home. Friends can call on the funeral home for visitation tomorrow from 5 until 8 p.m. For whatever reason, if your working days are over, don't do anything before you meet Grover. Social Security, disability, SSI, work injuries, wear and tear, and hearing loss. 888-9-GROVER. Whether you've got a new ride and you want it to stand out in the crowd, or you want your current ride to look and feel like a new one, no one does lifts, wheels, and tires better than Conley's. Stop in now for spring tire specials, free quotes, and 0% financing, or log on to conleytire.net.
Johnson Central High School stands alone in providing the most college and career programs of study in one building throughout the entire state of Kentucky. This includes pathways in everything from the medical field to engineering, telemedia, welding, agriculture, and even aviation. And that's just to name a few of the 32 different choices. Work has also been started on a brand new state-of-the-art high school. So now is the time for your child to experience the power of opportunities in Johnson County schools.
Someone dies in the U.S. every 7 minutes from an overdose, and over half of the population gets or takes pills from a friend or relative. And about 46 million and counting are exposed to narcotics in their drinking water. So don't toss them, flush them, or leave them lying around. Safely dispose of your unneeded meds anytime at Parkway Pharmacy,
where you can always talk to a pharmacist when you need one.
At Big Sandy Healthcare, our mission has been to provide quality healthcare close to home. Now, as part of the mission, we're proud to announce our new Women's Health Mobile Clinic. We will be traveling to 5 counties to ensure that transportation is not an issue when it comes to your health. We can even arrange transportation from your home to the mobile clinic. Services include prenatal and postpartum visits, 4D ultrasounds, lab work, and wellness exams. For an appointment, call 606-263-6195. Big Sandy Healthcare, truly bringing quality healthcare close to your home.
There are several risk factors that may put a patient at risk for heart disease.
Especially people who have diabetes or hypertension or high cholesterol and have a family history of heart disease.
Neglecting to see a cardiologist can put you in trouble. You may develop problems that may not be reversible.
We see many people who do not have an actual diagnosis of a heart problem, but may be at risk of heart disease, and we do whatever we can to help mitigate that risk to help prevent disease in the future. ARH. More for Appalachia.
SMB is proud to stand with you with what might be your very first and definitely last checking, savings, retirement, even Christmas Club account, along with consumer, auto, mortgage, business loans that you can easily manage from anywhere in the world with safe, secure mobile and online banking that comes from over 120 years of commitment to your financial life and well-being, today, tomorrow, and forever. Salyersville National. Your real ID, if you haven't got it, you're going to have to at some point. There is a mandate to do so. There's also a new or most recent date. I think it may have changed a couple of times since it was first announced in Kentucky, but it is in 6 months. 6 months that every Kentuckian 18 years of age or older will need to get a real ID or another acceptable form of identification to travel domestically and access certain federal facilities, including military bases. Now, I want to stress the enforcement date is May the 7th of 2025. After that, a standard issued driver's license will still be valid for driving, proof of identity and age, residence for voting, and age-restricted purchases like buying alcohol or tobacco. And it will be acceptable for accessing federal facilities that include Social Security offices and Veterans Administration hospitals. But if you're wanting to travel or access some other federal facilities, a real ID will be required in 6 months. And it will be for every Kentuckian 18 years of age or older who will need a real ID or another acceptable form of identification to travel, and that's domestically. This is not good for international travel, but as well access certain federal facilities, including military bases. To apply for a real ID, if that's what you want to do, well, you can do so by visiting a driver's licensing regional office like the one in Prestonsburg and present one proof of identity, one proof of Social Security, and 2 proofs of residency. The requirement is part of the Federal Real ID Act, which aims to establish minimum security standards for state-issued identification documents. Now, how about a little current data before we go on over to your Licking Valley RECC Outlook? 68 degrees is where I topped out in downtown today. 62, well, just hit 61. 0 wind right now. If I stood and watched the meter here long enough, I'd probably see 1 or 1.5 mile per hour. But right now, 0. So we'll go with it. I had a maximum daily gust of just 8, which is not much. Humidity 91%. We've logged a whopping 0.04 inches of precipitation. I'm not even going to call it rain. We'll call it precipitation today, which is just not that much. We have sunrise at 7:06, sunset at 5:28. I'd show you a local Doppler radar. Nothing to show you. The forecast calling for a 20% chance of showers before 8 o'clock or so. There was zilch on it a minute ago. The clouds, as you saw over my shoulder a second ago, were thick and heavy and kind of feels like rain, and it's damp out, but I think we're done. Mostly cloudy and 50 degrees is what we should finish up your Thursday with. We'll start off tomorrow with mostly cloudy skies for your Friday, but they're going to part. They're going to clear and make way for some sunshine. Mid-60s for your tomorrow. Like I said, a little cloudy, a little gray to get going, but once it does, it's going to be sunny and pretty nice in the mid-60s. Mostly clear skies tomorrow night. We'll get down to the lower 40s for your Friday evening. Into your Saturday, first half of your weekend looks to be just as nice as tomorrow, literally. A little nicer on the downhill side. 65 again, mostly sunny. Pretty nice Saturday, to say the very least, for a fall afternoon in the bluegrass and eastern Kentucky as well. Mostly cloudy skies that night and 48 degrees. It's going to be much more mild than the 40 for tomorrow night. So, all in all, pretty nice day on your Saturday. It is, however, into your Sunday morning that we've got another system rolling through that I briefly mentioned yesterday. And with that, we have much more than just a chance of some showers and maybe a few thunderstorms. Check that out. Sunday's forecast includes showers and thunderstorms to the tune of 100%. Definitely the shower part, mainly after 1 o'clock. We'll see patchy fog linger up to like 11 on your Sunday morning, and showers and thunderstorms will be possible all the way throughout your Sunday night. Big rainmaker? Not necessarily. Let's hope for a half inch or so. We'll see. Monday is Veterans Day, and right now it looks pretty nice and favorable. 65 and 40 for your high and for your low. A 30% chance of showers, but I didn't even put it on screen because that looks to be out of here by 8 o'clock or so, if we see that on Monday morning of Veterans Day, so we'll call it mostly sunny and 65. We do knock a few degrees off the top on Tuesday down to the low 60s, but that doesn't give us a chance of showers until Wednesday. 61, 39, your high, your low for Tuesday. Shower chances make their way back into the forecast and into the viewing area Wednesday as we warm up to 69, mostly sunny with a 60% chance of showers. Thursday, we're back down to 58 with mostly sunny skies and a 40% chance of showers before we should wrap it up with a mostly dry Thursday evening. That's going to wrap it up for tonight. See you back here wrapping up this week of programming for more of Your News Today. Good night, and thank you for being a part of the show. Okay.